can I just say, I feel like I am meeting a full-blown celebrity. I have been a Wize teacher for going on 3 years now, and I have seen so many of your videos, the instructional videos where you're teaching us how to code and how to design. You are just so fantastic, and it is wonderful that I get to meet you in real life on Zoom, and that we get to have this conversation so that we, like the rest of the internet, gets to meet you too.
Thank you so much, Rachel. It's such a pleasure talking to you as well. And you really made my day by with all the compliments that you flowed me. But it is a privilege to be in a position where you can actually contribute to the community. So thank you.
Can you just talk to us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what we're going to be talking about today?
Sure. So let me just, start with a quick introduction about myself. Those who don't know me, my name is Venus Bhasin, and I'm the co-founder of Wize Computing Academy. And I'm also the franchise owner of Coppell, Texas territory of Wize Computing Academy. While I see the global vision being on the franchisor side of Wize Academy, but I'm also very deeply rooted into day-to-day operations as a franchisee of Wize Computing Academy brand as well. Being on the franchisor side and the franchisee side, what it gives me is boots on the ground perspective. So ensuring that the curriculum that is getting developed is not just looking good on the paper, it truly delivers the results in the classroom, and it resonates with the students, it resonates with the classroom administrators who are trusting us for giving quality, and the parents who are trusting us with their kids as well. My previous life before Vice, I was working in the tech industry. My last job was as a VP with Bank of America. Vishal and I co-founded Wize Computing Academy together. And the idea really started at home with our daughter, who is now a junior in high school. Back then, she was very curious of what we do on our computers all day. And when we looked at the programs to help her to understand this logical thinking or what computing could be for her age group, we realized there was a massive gap. There was no one teaching technology to that younger age group. So that's where we decided to bridge that gap ourselves. And what's truly special to me, and I can also include Vishal, is seeing the full circle. So we have 3 children, and all 3 of them have gone through majority of our curriculum, if not all, as students. And as it stands, my oldest stands with me as a classroom instructor. And seeing her go from a curious child to a confident leader in the tech industry, standing in the classroom, delivering and impacting the young students for what we do, that to me is an ultimate proof that our mission works.
Wow. I know I've seen videos where there are children who are teaching. Are those your kids?
That is true.
I love that. I find as a teacher that we observe that kids learn better with and from each other than they do from us. So I loved seeing those videos where it was kids who were moving the mouse around and showing you how to do the code and showing you how the project was going to look when it was done and explaining the steps. Really amazing that you have that as part of this curriculum. Incredible. I got to back up a little bit. Bank of America to now you have an entire, we're nationwide. Is it bigger than nationwide?
Yes, we offer our locations are US and Canada. We also have a satellite location in India.
That's amazing. So teaching kids, elementary schoolers, coding, robotics, engineering, design, all kinds of these STEAM subjects to very little kids. We've got pre-K, 4 years old, through middle school, given a region. That's a big jump, right? Like I'm doing banking and finance and IT to the education. How did it grow this big? How did you grow it?
So, and I'm going to put my franchisee hat on right now. As I had an operation in front of me, one of the biggest concern that I had was, as I'm looking at scaling, is how would I quality control as I'm scaling? So, one of the questions that I had always asked myself in that situation is, how can I ensure that the kids who are joining the Wize Computing Academy are getting a quality education, even if I'm physically in the classroom, or it does not really matter. every instructor is delivering quality in terms of their education, and our students are benefiting from every session that they're attending. And that concern actually went away as I saw our operational processes in action. We have a specific system that we follow from curriculum delivery to the real-time feedback that allows me as a franchise owner to validate the quality of education no matter where I am. Because of our system being so robust and plug and play, I can look at the progress of our learners. I can see exactly what they're doing. It gives me confidence at that point, owning Wize Computing Academy, that it's not just dependent on one person or an excellence of one or few people. It's a proven model that maintains the high standards and across every school and every instructor that we hire.
That trust is everything, right? You're going to take a leap and you need to know that safety net is there, that this is proven, that the projects are going to work, that they're going to be able to be completed on time, that the photo ops for parents and that qualitative feedback for the parents is going to be good and accessible. And one thing about the franchise model that seems really effective is that it seems like the responsibility is for all of the difficult things is distributed, right? There's one part of the organization that's thinking about curriculum. There's one part that's thinking about the technology. There's another part that can just trust that that's good, who's going to be thinking about how do we buy this equipment? How do we move it around? And then there's a part of like, how are we going to hire the right people and train them? And then the people over here who are thinking about the training, the curriculum can then support each other. And then there are the schools then provide the facilities, right? Like we don't have to worry about these people who are worrying about what lessons to plan are not the same people who are worried about keeping the lights on and who's going to lock the door. How do things unfold in each role? How do these things interlock? How do they support each other? And how do they relieve each other of some of the stressful parts of this work?
So one part of it is that you're having a team who is competent in handling each of the roles and responsibilities, and also the communication within the team. I think that we work very closely, just like a family. We could all be doing disjointed things, but then we have a common connection. And we try to create not a hierarchy, but everyone's at the pier, everyone's doing their responsibilities, but then we come together on the same table and then we have a discussion. All right, you got this part of the puzzle. How does this all intertwine to each other? And if we were to run this in a classroom, what would piloting that to validate the solutions that we are creating, the project that we are drafting will work, the equipment that we are using, and that we make it easier for our franchisees, because by the time content is going to them or the execution strategies are going to them, these are tried and tested. There's nothing new that is being tested in their classroom. That's where I feel the headquarters takes a plunge on it, making sure the validation is happening based on how they have created that operational excellence.
I expect that for a franchisee to be like they have to worry about the finances and the hiring and so many other things, and to know that they can just pick up an excellent, tried and true, proven system. That's got to be great. The thing about franchising I always hear about is flexibility. Because you're distributing that responsibility, are there things that you or as a franchisee or a franchisor can do in that somebody with a regular 9 to 5 wouldn't be able to do?
Actually, I'm going to start with an example for myself, or just a reflection of my life. Last week was a perfect situation like that. I was able to attend a midday school event for my children without having to check my clock, asking permission. So that, to me, being an owner of your time is the ultimate ROI of any business that you own. But beyond just a schedule, I also feel it's the mental freedom that comes along having your own location or being a business owner. And I feel that I'm able to bring so much more creativity to my day because I have to make a choice of what my top priorities are as I start my day. In a 9 to 5, someone else is making that decision for me. Someone else is dictating what your focus areas would be. Not that it's wrong, but that's how the real life works, right? But here, I decide where my energy goes, at the start of the day. What's the brainstorming, a new way that I have to do to increase the number of students, or refining the operations, or the sales calls that I have to make, of meeting the administrators, or the choices that would help me or benefit me as a business owner. So I feel that it makes the work a lot more fulfilling when you are making those decisions for yourself at the end of the day.
It makes a lot of sense because the system is set up sort of interdependently. You can trust that your team and the system has you. So you can also then trust that you can make the right decisions, right? Am I going to be sending these emails? Am I going to be creating this? You can just trust if that's what I feel like I need to be doing, that's probably what I need to be doing instead of feeling like, well, I need to make sure that I'm performing correctly. You can actually create and actually build the life that you want to have. Tell us a little bit about the programs, and I want to know, what do the kids go crazy for?
Hands down, the kids absolutely love Minecraft, coding in Minecraft, and engineering of robotics using different equipments. The beauty is when they're working on this curriculum, they think that they're just playing on Minecraft or the things are getting created for them, even if it's happening with the code or they're building a robot to battle. But what they don't realize, and I feel happy about of seeing that the output is they're actually mastering the complex logic. They're actually understanding how the engineering works when they're working on the gears and they're trying to make a hand move up and down or their robot to lift something. They're firsthand learning the concepts of coordinates when they're working on Minecraft. They're learning about physics when they're working on augmented reality and virtual reality. You know what a collision is. And I feel the secret sauce is the project-based learning because everything is a project. You understand a concept, you hands-on get to do that or apply that concept and not just apply the concept following what I'm telling you. You are applying that concept by applying your creativity, applying what idea that you have. How would, I use the concept of levers if I'm building a robot or if I'm trying to build a game? What excites me or what makes the competitor edge in me kind of rise up if I'm building a game. So, but we don't just stop in the classroom. That's another aspect of it. So we also help our students validate their learning by giving them a stage to shine. That could be through an interclass competition, that could be an inter-school competition, or just taking them to a global stage, just like competitions that we coach our students to participate in First Lego League or Vex Robotics, which are at the world level. So our students are not just learning, they're also competing, they're winning, they're understanding what it takes for them to be ready for competing at that level. And I feel it gives them a sense of pride and accomplishment that stays with them long after even the class is over.
So true. And that's absolutely been my experience teaching as well. They might not even have the concept, right? They might not know or be able to define what is a lever, but when they see it, they know how to use it.
Yes.
Because they play with it and they problem solve with it and they work together on the problem solving. And then from there, it's not as if they're waiting for a grade. They're waiting for their robot to come to life. And
True.
so they are getting immediate real world feedback that they then get to work with right there with their hands. I love seeing the way that if a code goes wrong, it's not that I need to tell them that's wrong or that's bad or you need to do it again or F. It's in what way did that go wrong?
Yeah.
That's probably where we can look for the answer. And they are so good at that. And I think a lot of teachers even might be surprised at how much kids can really go with it and really excel when they are in control because it's their project and it's their vision. It's beautiful.
True.
Now, that's as far as the academic side, right? It doesn't feel academic. It doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like school to them because it's playing. It is. But there's a lot more that they're learning too. What are the things besides coding, mathematical thinking, engineering, logic? Those kind of things they're definitely getting in spades. But what else is there? Socially, emotionally, relationally?
Sure. And that's such a great question. I get this question a lot of time from parents from the diverse backgrounds that they come from. That even setting the level of our students, what we tell them is we're not just building coders or engineers. What we're building is confident and agile thinkers. And I'll just give you simple examples. First, when they learn resilience and perseverance in coding, your first draft rarely works. A lot of times you just put the code together, it's not going to work just because you've not tested it. So that's where our students firsthand are learning how to accept failure as a natural part of the discovery process. And that's where rightly you said they don't give up. Now they're learning how to iterate their code. How do you make it better? So the first two lines of the code, let me just remove everything else and just see, and how can I work on my way from there to build on it. And beyond that, they're developing a strategic mindset. They're learning how to tackle large and intimidating problems in a productive way by breaking them down into smaller issues. Your goal of your robot, or if your goal of your game is that the character has to jump down and then maybe have some kind of a bouncing attribute to it. So that's where now they're becoming more curious instead of being stuck. They're asking more questions. I got this part of the problem. Now, how do I do this? So this is where a very natural progression is happening of how they are building the skill set that we want them to have as an individual, as a grown up, where childhood is the foundational skills. And I think most importantly, they're learning how to adapt as well. That's another aspect of it. When a new possibility is presented, they don't shy away. I have not seen something like this. And it's a very, I was floored to hear this exactly the phrase that one of my students used. I don't know the answer, but I can figure this out. That aspect of it, I feel you cannot tell a student to do or a child to do. You have to make them go through the journey where we're giving them the emotional and the social tools to look at the challenge in life and take it from there.
Oh, wow. That was incredible. And that makes a lot of sense. I think that so often we as adults think like, oh, these children are so impatient. Well, how do you teach children to be patient? Do you put it on a slide deck and put it at the front of the classroom and explain what patience is? No, you give them opportunities to be patient. And
Yes.
when something's not working and you have to take a breath and try again or ask for help, that's how you learn patience, by doing the patience. I see all the time kids also learning cooperation and trust between each other. Because there is a moment where you're just about ready to throw your robot across the room because it's not working or it's not fitting. And your friend can sense that you need help and come in. I mean, we definitely have some group experiences, but even when kids are working independently on their own projects, they will still turn to each other and want to see what their friend is working on or what they need help with. And so they're inspiring each other and working together and really experiencing that. And then we see those kind of skills come along. I taught high school for 12 years, and we would always give group projects, and kids just didn't want to work together. I'll do it by myself. Well, they need to learn how to work together in these kind of experiences. So I
that's
think
not in real life, you will be working for, where you require it to be a teamwork, not just an individual contributor.
exactly. And this is where they get to do it with robots, with Minecraft, with game design, with 3D modeling. They are getting to really experience fun stuff and learn all of those life skills that they're going to need along the way.
Very true.
You are an expert at this. I don't know of any other programs that are teaching elementary schoolers about AI. And the truth is that there's a lot of discussion about it, and a lot of parents and educators are not sure whether to be excited about it or terrified about it. What do you think they should understand right now?
So one thing that I tell the parents, discussions that I've had, AI is the new literacy. It's no longer just an elective. It's a foundational skill. And in my opinion, parents should not be concerned about AI replacing their child. Instead, should be what we need to do is we need to change the focus in making sure the child is the one directing the AI. And that's what I think the focus is at Wize, where we teach them the why behind the how. And we want our students to be the builders of the future, not just the consumers of it. And instead of reacting to the technology, they should learn how to command it, how to code it, and lead with it, because that's the real, world that we're living in. That's how the world is kind of evolving. So we got to move forward with that. And when a child understands the logic behind the tool, they should not be intimidated by the change. Instead, they are the ones who are now creating it. And that's how we feel that we are going to ensure that they are led in the AI driven world that we are kind of walking into.
That is so important. I feel like one of the things I love so much about teaching children is that they will ask why to questions that we've forgotten how to wonder about. Why this? Why that? Why is the sky blue? Why did ChatGPT give me that answer? they have the ability to actually be really critical of just being given an answer. Why? And then to learn how to actually redirect it. That not that it's giving you the answer. It's not the dictionary that has the definition, that it's a living, breathing thing that they can direct, that they can participate in.
True.
What kind of growth have you seen in the business of this? And to anybody who's watching this, thinking about becoming a franchisee, what are the opportunities here?
Sure. So, looking at it from a spectrum of a franchisee, the real engine of our success has been organic word of mouth that comes from providing high quality education. When parents see their children transforming into confident problem solvers and staying excited about learning week after week, they share the success with their friends, their community, and the reputation. That's exactly why we've seen that our count is increasing year over year. Students who join us at kindergarten, they stay all the way through the end of elementary. Some of them come back to our middle school as well, and some of them have engaged with us on the courses that we offer for high school as well. So we've grown from a single location to a global brand. But I feel the most rewarding part is to see our franchisees also achieve a similar financial independence while they're changing the lives of thousands of the students. So we're not just scaling the business, we're also scaling an impact that the parents believe in and advocate for every single day.
Yes, 100%. And I have students who I've taught for multiple years.
Yeah.
And it is a feat that you deserve a lot of credit for, to be able to create curriculum that is both accessible and fresh all the time. I have parents who will ask me, are we going to do new projects? Are they going to learn new skills? Or is it they've done it? They learned how to code. Is that done? No, it's expansive. And so we are capturing those repeat customers of students year over year because the experiences are fresh and fun. And also I see a lot of siblings that come along, and we have those sort of like intergenerational groups, which is awesome. And we're really integrated into the school community as well. The students know the librarians, they know us. There's a real symbiotic relationship there.
True. And truly, I feel that our program is an extension of what the school is offering because we are working closely with the school, aligning to the standards that the concepts that they're teaching it's just the application of their part of it. When you're learning about the mathematic concept, about angles, for example, when you're maneuvering your robot from one location to the other location, you're basically applying what your maths teacher was talking about, the angles, because that's how you're controlling the movement of your robot. So truly everything is kind of intertwined together, and that's where we feel that you're making an impact to the community because we're working closely with them. It's not like a single ranked entity which is working on the side.
Oh, you're right. And the fact that they're even in their same classrooms, they're in their school, is going to help facilitate that transfer of knowledge and the application of that knowledge, for sure. I see that all the time. Now, what advice would you have for somebody who's thinking about starting a Wize franchise?
So if you have a passion for education, which is what I started my journey, and you want to drive a business, I would say don't wait for the perfect time, because a lot of times we kind of get comfortable in the zone that we're in. The demand for STEM education, as we see, is exploding. But more than that, I feel there is massive need for the leadership in our neighborhoods. And programs like this, you are truly bringing out the confidence in a child. You're really making an impact to the community. And my biggest piece of advice would be for you to ask yourself, if you want to make a long-lasting impact to your community. That's where I feel my answer kind of stood, because at Wize, we don't just open a business. We are truly transforming how the next generation is going to think and dream about things that they want to do. So if you want a business that feeds your soul and creates a real legacy in your town, I would say the Wize is the place to be.
Awesome. Venus, thank you so much for joining me for this amazing conversation. Thank you. Anything else you would like to share with our viewers?
Oh, great questions, by the way. I thought provoking. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to have this conversation with you.
And where can people follow us?
So we have handles on all different social media, on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. So any of those social media platforms that you're using, and the handle is @Wize Academy.
Awesome. Well, this was so much fun. Great conversation. I hope anybody who is watching this will make sure to follow us because we will be doing this again soon.